Hey everyone, I just got back from Magfest 2017. Well, a few hours ago. I took a little bit of a nap. Because, man, I got like 6 hours of sleep like the entire weekend. It was like from Thursday until today, so it was just absolutely insane. It's my favorite convention of the year, and I always am looking forward to going, and this year was no exception. In fact, this year was no drama whatsoever, and it was just such an awesome time. And I picked up a few things, want to showcase those, talk a little bit about the event itself, and yeah, I didn't get to do really like a recap last year from Magfest because I didn't really pick up anything, so I kind of just talked about it like during my live streams, but I actually did buy some retro-related games and such, so I'll go over and showcase everything that I ended up picking up. So if you're unfamiliar with it, Magfest is the music and gaming convention. It is held every year in January, sometimes February. Last year was pretty late in February due to some scheduling conflicts and the like. It's my favorite convention of the year. It is a 4-day convention, unlike most gaming and anime and conventions and such that are like usually 3 days, like, you know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In fact, some people end up going and staying from Wednesday all the way to Monday, which is something I've never done, but I really hope I'm able to do maybe next year. Just, you know, of course, funds, as it is in a really, really nice hotel. It's the Gaylord Hotel in National Harbor, Maryland, which is in Oxon Hill, Maryland, basically outside of Washington, D.C. So some people could say it's D.C., but it's actually in Maryland. Either way, it's like a really, really nice, awesome area, and the only issue with it is it's very expensive. So, like, going there and staying there and hanging there and eating there is not necessarily the cheapest thing in the world. In fact, like, one of the cheapest things to get at, like, the restaurant within the hotel itself, or even venturing outside, is like a $15 cheeseburger. Yes, and that, so, like, that is just, like, a little bit of, like, just how insane, like, it is if you're going there and gonna visit. But that's really the only thing that's negative about it. Basically, it's a very, very chill, awesome party convention. It's not like your PAXs and stuff like that, where it's all about, like, the gaming industry insider stuff and, like, demos and showing off stuff, though that is there. There actually is more of that as time has gone on. They had this really awesome setup with this VR mech game that was set up that I know a lot of people and a lot of my friends ended up checking out and doing. So there was a lot of really cool stuff, and they had a big indie showcase this year, which was also really cool. That's really grown, and I'm a big fan of that. But along with that is a gigantic arcade filled with all kinds of old school retro games and a lot of modern ones. Basically, like, every rhythm game you can possibly think of. So that's your scene. That's all there. And then, like, on the opposite side of the area, like, you know, you go through basically ballroom after ballroom, these massive rooms, and on the far end is a console room that's filled to the absolute brim with gaming consoles and everything like that. I have my webcam set on, like, auto, so I'm probably gonna mess around with the colors and stuff. I don't know. I never trust my webcam. I don't trust you, webcam. So anyway, usually when I go to these conventions, I don't do a whole lot of the panels or a lot of the activities. Like, I'm not going to meet other like, celebrities or stuff. There were some really cool people there. David Wise, the composer from Rare, that's done, like, Donkey Kong Country and a lot of other great games. He was there, plus a ton of other YouTubers. I got to meet a lot of them, talk to them briefly. A few of them I've become friends with over the last few years, so that was really cool. Met a lot of new people that I never met before, and hopefully, you know, get that ball rolling downhill, meeting people, making connections, trying to grow as a channel. Hopefully things will continue to build as we go into 2017. Like I said, I made just such awesome connections and friendships during the week, and I got to hang out, of course, with my own friends, which was awesome. Like, it is absolutely one of the best, smoothest Magfest probably ever, and I partied my butt off from Thursday until like 5 o'clock this morning, or, you know, Sunday morning at 5 a.m. was probably, like, I think my last drink of the convention, and then I was finally done. But I partied the entire time. It was absolutely awesome. Don't feel like, if you're, like, hearing this and you're like, I'm not sure, oh, it sounds like it maybe not be my thing, because, like, it's a big party scene and all that stuff, which it is, but there's plenty of other stuff to do if you don't party. There's tons of stuff to get into and all that isn't that. But anyway, check it out. It's magfest.org if you want to look about more information. They're doing all kinds of crazy Magfest events, like, everywhere now. Like, they're branching out and doing these side events and concerts, and they have like Mag Stock, which is like a camping one they do every year that's been going on for a few years now. And they have Mag Classic or Mag Lab or whatever they want to call it, which is basically a mini Magfest at the old hotel they used to have it at. Plus, they've done a Magfest on the West Coast kind of thing. I know they did a few months ago or relatively recently. So yeah, no, it's the best. Magfest is the absolute best, and everyone that I've ever taken, even if they're like, I'll go down for like a day or a few hours of stuff. Usually I think, and I think it's everyone that I've ever taken, or gotten, invited, and they actually showed up. Always like next year, the following year, like they are going to go for a much longer period of time, if not the whole weekend, because it's just that insane and awesome of an event. So anyway, like I said, I did pick up a few things. Couple bags worth of a random assortment of the games. I bought everything that I ended up picking up outside of food, including energy drinks, as well as, of course, the $15 cheeseburgers. But anyway, it's all from one stand. It's all from Mag Gear. Mag Gear is awesome. Carlson's the guy who runs it, and he is the best. I've been buying stuff from him every single year that I've been going to Magfest, and I see him at other conventions, and I always try to support him. He does a lot of import stuff, and I bought a lot of my imports and my systems over the years through him, whether it be my CDI or my Neo Geo, Vectrix, and other stuff like that. I bought a lot of stuff from him, and he is one of the best. So if you ever see him, he does, I know Midwest Gaming Convention was one of the big ones. I think it's at Minnesota, I think it is. And he's at a lot of places. So if you ever see a stand called Mag Gear, check it out. You need to do so. He is awesome. Okay. So it's mostly Famicom stuff. I don't know. I bought 2 bags worth. I bought one bag one day, and then ended up buying a second bag of stuff the next day. And so a lot of these games, I'm not even sure what a bunch of them are. So those out there, I know I have viewers that are like the experts at knowing Famicom titles and all by things. Some of them I recognize, of course, but a lot of these I didn't have. I may have a few of them already, but I got an extremely good deal on buying all of them. So I really wasn't too, like, if I ended up having a double or something, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever that's happened to me. So, without further ado, here we go. Let's start this off. Here is Ultima. This is one of the Ultimas. I'm not sure which one this is. I'm sure it is one of the ones that we ended up getting here, of course, in North America. Obviously, since it is Ultima. But not which. They actually have both. I'm not sure if I picked up both, because I think I had the other one already. But if I did, then I may have a next one of that. But there you go. There's one of the Ultimas, the Japanese Famicom version of that. This is the one I kept showing people all week, and I was like, what is this game? It's a Capcom title that I just don't recognize from the label at all. You guys may let me know what this is. It's like this crazy, like, fashionista looking thing. I'm sure it's like just an adventure game that's probably so much Japanese text that I would never actually be able to play it myself, like, and understand, unless there was a translation or something like that. But anyway, let me know what that is. Here's another game right here. We got Kid versus Kid. Basically the best way I am able to describe this one. Like I said, a lot of these I don't think I end up having. It's a Taito game. One of the fun things I like doing is when I buy these games, a lot of times I like the whole part of hooking them into the system and trying them all out and learning about these new games, because, well, I know, like, every game in the NES, Nintendo North America library, there are still a lot of Famicom games I haven't had the opportunity to explore and learn about, and I'm always looking for new ones. I'm going to be doing, actually, a Famicom February coming up in, of course, the month of February, because, Famicom February, it makes sense, right? Okay, there's a thing. Anyway, so every year now I'm, like, trying to implement more and more Japanese exclusive Famicom titles onto the channel, and this is one of the ways I'm able to do that, by buying, in bulk usually, Famicom cards. Though it is getting a bit harder and expensive now. It used to be I could get games for like $1 a piece, and that's starting to bump up a little bit, which I can't blame it. Like, if you even look on eBay and all, prices have gone up as far as importing even, like, the really common Famicom titles, which is what most of these are, don't get me wrong. Like, they're not, like, super rare games. I didn't get, like, a really rare Famicom game, of course, for whatever. But I've actually picked up a lot of the rarer Famicom titles that I actually like. The Megami Tensei games, Fire Emblems, stuff like that. I've picked them up a while ago. I even have, like, of course, DuckTales 2, and Chippendale in Japanese, so other stuff I picked up. This is a game that it looks like it was done. I know it's going to be, of course, there we go. Getting it, of course, to make sure it actually focuses is the roughest thing of doing it on this webcam. But anyway, looks like Rama-based art, but it's not Rama. Like, it looks like it's potentially like Rama, but I don't know. Like, I didn't recognize it right off the top, but it looks like the same basic, like, maybe the same artist or whatever. You guys correct me about this one. I played a lot, I like Ranma a lot, and I played Ranma on, all the SNES Ranma games, and seen the animes and all, but, like, this one looks like maybe it was by the same artist, but maybe before. Or I could be completely off. They just, whatever, caught my eye with it. Next up is, I don't even know what this is, but it looked insane. Very early Namco, let me see if I can get that, the focus. Can we get it? There we go. Anyway, you can kind of see it. Just absolutely insane, looking game. I'm sure it's absolutely probably terrible, too. Next up is the Japanese version of Top Gun. So this is one that I haven't done, Top Gun. I did my very, very early on play it through of Top Gun many years ago. But now that I have the Japanese cart, you probably are going to get a Japanese run of Top Gun for a play it through in the near future. So be on the lookout for that one day. Next up is a copy of Doughboy. I may already have a copy of Doughboy, but since, like I said, it was in this like whole kind of like bargain thing, I just went ahead and got another one. I may actually have another one. If I get around to getting through all my Famicom titles, I need to separate all the ones I have doubles of for like trades and stuff, because I like trading if possible. Here is, this is the Valkyrie whatever it is. It's an SNK franchise, and you can see with the art and all. It's a cool little action RPG, like action adventure game. I wouldn't say RPG, but action adventure game, similar to Legend of Zelda in a lot of ways. Very cool game. I wasn't positive if I had it already, but since it's a really cool game, this is one that I wouldn't mind if I have an extra giving to somebody if they actually were really into it, because of just, it's a really, really cool game. Next up is a, it looks like a Taekwondo or Judo game. It actually has both, because Jaleco, sometimes what they do is they do kind of a preview on one side. I know it's, of course, the focus doesn't want, the focus, I need more focus energy. But anyway, there we go. If I kind of like really get it up there, it kind of does it. But you can see that, and then on the opposite side of things, there you go. You have like the actual stuff. So I think it's like a Taekwondo type thing, not judo. Taekwondo, I think. Probably wrong, because I'm usually wrong, and people are going to correct me in the comments like always. This is a game with Durgans on it. Which looks really, really awesome from, like, the artwork, and that's the reason I got it. I didn't recognize seeing it before. Probably a game we actually even have, knowing my luck, but that just looked really awesome, so that's why I ended up making it into my pile. Next up is this game. I don't know much more about it, other than that, you know, you can kind of just deduce from the box art. There was a couple of copies of this actually, like, in the thing I was looking through. Next up is Japanese Business Guy, the game that's, he's cross-eyed, or looks cross-eyed, and things, so that's kind of funny. I don't know much more about it other than that. I'm sure it's not anything that I'm probably gonna maybe be able to do a thing for it. Oh, next up, this was actually really cool to get as well. This is one of my favorite NES titles that I know gets a little bit of a bad rap because of like AVGN and such, but I love it. And this is the Japanese version of Milon's Secret Castle. So you can see kind of, it even has like what we got as like the North American box art for it, like kind of in the bubble. And then you can see Milon and the other characters and stuff, some of the enemies. So that's another one of those little cool ones that I'm actually happy that I got a Japanese version of now. Next up is a game that actually looks like it, and probably isn't, but like just the character sprites alone made it look like it could potentially be like a North and South, but like Japanese samurai, you know, Bushido type thing going on. I'm sure it's not, but like just that like artwork and stuff, the way that the thing ends up looking. Next up is, the Doraemon, the first Doraemon game. I'm pretty sure this is the first one. There's a couple of Doraemon games on it. This cart's a little bit dirty. I'm not sure if I'll be able to clean it up or not. Maybe I can. But Doraemon's cool. They actually finally, like, brought some Doraemon episodes and stuff to North America. I think Disney XD or whatever it may be. But it's a It actually, this is, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the first Doraemon game, in which case it has like three levels, but they all play a little bit different from one another. It's a game that I've been wanting to do for a play it through down the road. Next up is another one of the Namco or like arcadey style games. This one we didn't get here in North America, I'm pretty sure, and that is a game called Babel. This is another cool one. Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom, the Japanese version. It's relatively obscure, hard to get a hold of North American copy, which I've had for many, many years at this point. I did a play it through a long time ago for it. But this is the Japanese version. Of course, it's a text adventure style game, so unless you know what you're doing, it's a very hard game to actually play in Japanese, but it's one of those ones I just didn't have. I love the artwork, of course. I love Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. It's one of my favorite obscure-ass NES titles. But, yeah, so they're another one. Next up is... I do not recognize it from the artwork on the back, but it's another Namco game. Here we go. Try to get it to focus in. There we go. So kind of cool looking for the artwork, and then you can get a screenshot of it on the back. And it looks like it has like a power and experience meter, potentially. So this is one that I could potentially go ahead and work on eventually doing something with. Though interestingly, oh no, it's a Jaleco game. Jaleco does the artwork on the back, but it actually, okay. So, if I had that, where's that Babel I just had in my hand? There's the Babel. Okay, if you look at Babel, and the reason why I thought it was Namco is I know it's going to be hard to see. But you can see the Namco or Namcot thing, the way it's kind of like on there. And it's very similar to the way the Jaleco is on this cart. There you go, there's a good shot of it. The way that the Jaleco is set up on that one. And the other Jaleco game I showed earlier, the Judo-esque, whatever, the Taekwondo game. Ended up having a bigger cart. So anyway, and last but not least, this is Star Soldier, and I know that because I can actually read it because there's English writing on it. So there, that is bag one. I do have another bag. The second bag, this is what I bought the second time around, which is a little bit more of a cluster of games, and actually a few North American Game Boy titles. That I ended up picking up for, like, once again, a very, very good price, so that's why I ended up doing it. Here is a game, probably based on some kind of manga or anime. It looks like old people versus young people, or family, or something. I'm sure it's something that I would never be able to fully understand in English or anything like that. Next up is the one of the Super Ninja Boy games. The Super Famicom version of it from Culture Brain. Extremely cool series of games if you've never played them, especially like once you get it, the Kung Fu Heroes was like the first game in the series that we got, but then it became like the Ninja Boy series and all that, and a really, really cool little series. Next up is Track and Field, Konami's Track and Field. The Japanese version, I don't think it's Track and Field 2. I'm pretty sure it's Track and Field 1, I would think. But you can correct me, of course. Please do, if whatever I get wrong in this, as I'm getting everything wrong, I'm sure. But there you go, there's that. As I'm running out of space, let me get a big pile. Of stuff. I got one really cool pickup that I'm really happy to get a copy of, finally. And I'll be showcasing that in just a minute, just because it's, I'm actually going to be doing a playthrough for it very soon. Let me get a pile of these games out here. Let's get them a little bit easier, I guess. Okay, next up is one of the many horse racing titles for the Famicom. This one from Namco. I actually am a big fan of the whole, like, horse racing genre of games. We have not gotten one in North America for a long time, so I'm hoping PS4 wise we'll get a new horse racing game. There's like usually three, I think it's three long running series in Japan that are still going to this day, that are making new titles, but we just don't get that many of them. Obviously a very obscure thing. Next up is Balltron. Yes, Balltron from Toei Animation. This is the second of this series. You guys know, the anime fans out there know what the series is called. I never remember what it's called, but we did get the first game in this series of games was what became... I'm pretty sure this is the one that became Chubby Cherub when it was brought over. That's my first thought. Probably getting that wrong as like my brain trying to think and remember everything. Next up is another, obviously looks like an anime inspired stuff from Toei Animation. But really, really awesome, of course, artwork on the cart alone. So really cool. I also just love, one of the things with Famicom games I love so much also is the colored carts. North America, we only got a small handful of colored carts. You had all the gray ones, a few gold ones from Nintendo with like The Legend of Zelda, and then like anything that wasn't those colors was looked at, you know, was the unlicensed stuff usually. There's baby blue carts and stuff, and then Camerica's you know, weird gold carts and stuff. But other than that, we didn't get very many. And there's a lot of really awesome colored Famicom cards. I love Famicom games. Here's a copy of Aretha, which I do think I actually have. This is an RPG game on the Super Famicom. I'm pretty sure I have a copy of Aretha sitting around here. I got it a long time ago, but it was, you know, once again, like I said, some of these were a really awesome deal. So I just kind of got a lot of stoof. Next up is a game I do not know what it is. It's from NBsoft. This looks like I could like it. Probably very like an old school arcade game. Maybe it's something that we actually got here, but I just don't recognize it. Like, it doesn't jump out at me, but I love the animal guys, like thinking about meat and turning the guy, eating him. So that's kind of cool. So whatever this is, I want to look at this too. Look it up. Next up is a Sunsoft Japanese title. There you go. Very, very cool looking. And Lunar Ball, the pool game, which we did get here, Lunar Pool, or whatever. So that's just the Japanese version. I don't think I had a copy of it, but really awesome artwork, though, because it's like using the pool cue, but it's all the planets and all set on it. So I kind of really dig the whole look to that. Here's a copy of WCW Main Event for the Game Boy. I am sure this is absolutely terrible. This is the North American. Like I said, a few North American Game Boy titles in here. And these were like really, these were cheaper than the other ones. So I was like, I picked up a bunch of those. So the first one of which is that one. Next up is a racing title from Konami. There we go. I know I already have a copy, but it was another one of those ones where good price, so got it. Another copy of Final Fantasy USA Mystic Quest, the Japanese version of Mystic Quest. Here we go. Here's another obscure Hudson Soft Super Famicom title. Trying to read the label. Another Japanese racing title for the Super Famicom. Oh, that's something. Okay, I picked up a couple. One, I do apologize. I did pick up another game. I did pick up like 2 games from another stand. I did. So I'll show that last though. But everything else I picked up was all from the same stand so far. Another Namco racing title. That's the other thing I picked up. Okay, next up is a game from Bandai that I didn't recognize at all. I like Bandai's carts and stuff like that, so another cool. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Of course not. Why would you? Next up is this what I'm not positive, but I'm 90% sure on this one is the Japanese version of Amagon, which is another one of the ones I've been wanting to do the Japanese version of it, which I think is slightly different than the North American version of the game. And that's why this one caught my eye. And so I'm pretty sure that's what this is. If I'm wrong, I will, of course, be corrected in the comments. But anyway, so I'm pretty sure this is the Japanese version of what we got as Amagon, which is whatever, something with a T, I think, in there, and all that stuff. A copy of Ants for the Game Boy. What a glorious piece of crap that probably is. I'm not sure. Like I said, a lot of these, I said, almost down to only the Game Boy stuff in here. Oh gosh, don't want to drop the bag. Next up is a game that I do not recognize at all, but it looked kind of weird and interesting with the giant, like, Hindu, Buddha-esque look, you know, like probably Hindu related or something like that. God thing on there. And a copy of something from Kemco, which is obviously samurai based. I don't know if it's based on like an anime or manga, or is it just like a weird strategy game. I'm not quite sure about this one, but I do dig the cart and the artwork, of course. And I think this is the last. Oh yeah, okay, that's kind of cool that this is the last one. And last but not least is Square's Tom Sawyer. This game is a RPG based on Tom Sawyer. If you're familiar with the North American NES library, there is a Tom Sawyer game on the NES, but this is not that. This is a RPG series that it does a somewhat interesting version of Tom Sawyer, includes some questionable content due to depiction of certain characters in it. But yeah, just one of those very, very obscure, weird games that ended up coming out from Square during the Famicom lifespan. And now everything else in here is the Game Boy titles, the rest of the Game Boy titles, which are they're all pure gold. Like, absolutely. These games are all pure, amazing gold. Let me get them all out here. Try not to drop any. Okay, there we go. I think I got them all. I think a couple of these are Japanese as we go through. A copy of Kunio-kun Soccer, which is World Cup Soccer in North America, from Technos. We have one of the Puyo. Pretty sure this is one of the Puyo games. Of course, trying to get these Game Boy ones to focus is going to probably be the hardest of the bunch. There we go. From Compile. Copy of Outburst from Konami. This is the Japanese, obviously, version of Outburst. What is this? Puzzle Collection. Hello Kitty Puzzle Collection. The Game Boy, Japanese Game Boy Color. Not sure if that will, that pink, little bit of pink text you can kind of see on it is where it says Hello Kitty. Next up is a boxing game from Tengen. I'm not sure. I'm sure we probably got this as called something else here in North America, but I'm a fan of boxing games. In fact, I'm doing a really bad one for a play it through very soon. But yeah, so I also dig the artwork. Next up is Ferrari Grand Prix Challenge for the Game Boy from Acclaim. Dennis the Menace for the Game Boy. This is going to be one that definitely gets done for a play it through in the future from Ocean. Absolutely awful. I am sure of it. Oh, the Dennis the Menace games based on that film were really bad. So that's one that'll be done. A copy of Ren and Stimpy Space Cadet for the Game Boy from THQ. Space Cadet Adventures. M&M's Minis Madness, which I think is a puzzle game for the Game Boy Color from M&M's. I don't know why they made so many M&M games, but they have actually made quite a bit of M&M games in the years. Rugrats, the movie for the Game Boy from THQ. Another absolutely stellar title, of course. Like, you know, don't want to focus. Bring it back here and forward. And last but not least from this pile is the amazing, and you will definitely see for a play it through one day because it is just absolutely glorious. In fact, I even want to speed run this at one point. and that is Elmo in Grouchland for the Game Boy. Oh boy, what a game this truly ends up being. Holy crap. This is based on the Elmo and Grouchland movie that actually was made. I've actually played it through emulation years ago. But there you go, there's that. And then, okay, so the final thing that I got, the game that I was most excited to get, which I want to do for a play it through. I played through it a couple of times through emulation and stuff, so I'm hoping I'll be able to do a video for it, hopefully in famicom February. And this is one of the ones I wanted when I went to Magfest this year. I was hoping I could find a copy of it, and just was able to do so. Not much to anybody else probably but me and a few others, but a copy of Layla for the Famicom. This is early Maze Famicom title. Is not the greatest by any means, and you'll see why when I get my video, my play it through done for it. But female protagonist, very early, I think like 1986. This title was released, so just another one of those like awesome little obscure Famicom titles I found many years ago through emulation, and have always wanted to have a copy. So I got a copy of Layla for the Famicom. And the two games that I picked up from another stand, nothing amazing or anything like that, which didn't cost me actually the price that's listed on here. I'm just going to take that off. I actually got it for a little bit cheaper. A little bit cheaper, but not much. Anyways, it's like the only baseball title on the the NES I didn't have, which was a copy of Tecmo Baseball. Nothing really amazing or anything, but for some reason I just didn't have a copy of this one. I have pretty much, I think, every other baseball title now on the NES. And last but not least, a copies of Galarian's Ash from Sammy Studios. Just one of those PS2 obscure little titles that I just never got a copy of. I've heard mixed things about Galarians over the years, but I didn't have a copy of Galarian's Ash. So there you go. That is it. That is everything that I picked up over the weekend at Magfest 2017. Like I said, it was an absolutely awesome event. Thank you anybody who ended up watching and checking out this video. Check out Magfest if you ever get a chance to. I don't think you will regret it. That is for sure. I'm already waiting for next year. I just cannot wait to head in to Magfest next year. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. If you're interested about the panel, I did do a panel on speedrunning. I will probably tomorrow get a chance to edit the footage and look at that and get that up. I don't think it's not quite as cool as last year's panel. I will warn ahead of time, it wasn't as amazing as last year's panel, but I still think it went okay. I'm my worst critic, so I'm going to say at best it's okay. But I will be editing that, and that will be up and stuff as well coming up tomorrow. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. And of course, I hope you enjoy.